So you have a goal, a vision, and for whatever reason, you can't bring yourself to do the things that you need to do in order to get there. And it almost doesn't make sense. Like, how can you want something so bad? Like, I know that feeling. I know how amped up you probably get thinking about that thing, you know, living that lifestyle, being that person, having that freedom, you know, all those things. It invokes like this invigorating adrenaline. It makes you feel alive, you know, it gives you goosebumps when you think about it. So how can you want that thing so bad and still just not be willing to do the things that you need to do? And it's not like the things that you need to be doing are difficult in any way or are a mystery, you know, like everyone knows what to do. All the information is out there online. You can find a ton of YouTube videos on how to do pretty much anything in this world. Start any kind of business. You can learn how to become an artist. You can learn how to do anything. You can learn how to become a chef. Like, you can literally learn anything on the internet nowadays. So it's not a matter of how. It's a matter of will. Where do you find the will? Evidently, it's not going to be motivation, because motivation doesn't trump laziness, you know, because motivation is temporary. That's why when you think about your goal or your vision, you maybe get amped up and, you know, you might work at it for a week or 2 weeks or maybe even a month, but eventually you burn out and like you just go back to square one. And it's just like this repeating, endless, dreadful cycle. So what needs to change? How do we find the will? Many of us are too focused on everything that's going on out here, external factors, right? And when the physical world doesn't reflect what we want in our minds, it leaves us frustrated and confused and exhausted and discouraged and a whole bunch of other things that no one wants to feel. Whereas what needs to happen is we need to embody the person that we want to become on the inside. We need to adopt their mindset. We need to adopt their mental framework. We need to replicate their behaviors. And naturally, the physical realm will kind of just reflect that. Now, this probably isn't the first time you heard someone say this, like you need to adopt the mindset first. But I want to really specify something, because a lot of people go at this the completely wrong way. You need to really immerse yourself in this. Like, this is a very involved process. This isn't like you just tell yourself a few positive affirmations and you meditate for 10 minutes and call it a day. No, like this is you need to rework your internal system here. Like, this is a deep rooting issue. Because what you're asking to change is your identity, who you are, right? Good news is once you actually make this change, you pretty much win at that point. Like, that's the hard part. Everything else just kind of follows, because all that life is a projection of what's going on in here. So if you can get this right, if you can align this with what you truly want, everything will just kind of fall into place after that. So, but I want to make that clear. Like, this isn't, you have to really immerse yourself in this process. I did this through a form of self-hypnosis. I would isolate my mind. I would turn off all the lights, get rid of all the distractions. I would make sure my environment was silent, and I would get into a very relaxed state, almost where everything kind of around me just disappeared. And I was really able to focus all of my energy on me. What this gave me the ability to do was look deeply into my subconscious, into why I did certain things, what I truly wanted in life, why I wanted them, what was truly preventing me from getting there, what were things that I most needed to change about my current self to better reflect who I wanted to become, like these kinds of things. And I was able to really hyperfixate on them in this kind of state. What I noticed was when you really isolate yourself, your mind, and you put yourself one-on-one with your weaknesses, the things that you must change, the things that you need to improve on in order to reflect the person that you're trying to become, you rapidly transform. Like, you evolve at a rate that you might not even imagine is possible. And I mean, truly, like, that's the only way to do it. But many of us are too distracted on our phones or watching TV or YouTube or who knows what else, like going to the club or going out partying or whatever you do, I don't know, but playing video games, the list goes on and on and on. We live in a world of distraction and temptation. I would say 99% of people really don't give themselves any time out of the day to do this kind of thing at any level. So you get a whole bunch of people saying that they want to change or they have a goal and they don't understand why they can't pursue it at any rate. And it's like, once you look at it from this perspective, it's almost laughable because it makes no sense. Like, why would you think that you could change if you're not giving yourself any time out of your day to see where you need to change? So I want you to know, like, the most powerful tool that you can possibly utilize is self-reflection and patience as well. Like, the longer you can sit with yourself and really, like, every answer, every question that you have, all the information is within. It's nowhere else. You're not going to get it on a YouTube video. You're not going to get it reading a book. YouTube videos are great. Books are amazing. I'm not saying that they're not useful, but in this case, what we're trying to do is, like I said, like, rewire our internal system. We need to wipe away the crappy foundation we're currently standing on and rebuild it to replicate the foundation we need in order to build this grand structure that we're trying to become. You're not going to get that through a YouTube video or a book or by talking to anyone. Like, it's an internal process that needs to happen. Does that make sense? And by extension, in order for that internal process to really take place in its full form, you need to isolate yourself and you need to immerse yourself in that. Like, I'm having trouble to fully accurately, like, describe it, but I feel like you probably are kind of getting what I'm saying. But I do promise you, when you practice this, like, give it a week, okay? Give it a week and see where you end up. Give yourself an hour out of the day and get rid of all the distractions, turn off the lights, and just focus on your breathing. Ask yourself, what do you truly want? What type of person do you want to become? How do they operate? What is their lifestyle like? What are their motives? What are their values? Do any of those things differ from who we currently are? Why? Are those differences rooted in something in our past? What are ways that we can go about changing them or improving them? Like, you just have to ask yourself questions. That's really it. It's a very simple thing. It's not like, it's not rocket science. You just have to be with yourself, ask yourself questions, listen to your own answers, and you'll just naturally be guided down the right path, I promise you. And you'll acquire this new perspective that kind of opens up a whole new dimension of life for you. And we're getting down a whatever road now, but your issue is not laziness. Your issue is you're not listening to yourself. You're constantly being distracted. You're constantly preoccupied. you need to just listen to yourself, and identify who you want to become. Like I said before, all reality is a projection of what's going on in here. So that's your main priority. If you can straighten this out, laziness is just a mere, it's not even relevant at that point. Laziness is such a surface level issue that's not the deep rooting cause of why you're not making any progress. You're not listening to yourself. That's the root cause. So dedicate even just an hour out of your day to just be alone in an isolated environment. Isolate your mind. Identify what your vision is. Who do you want to become? How does that person behave? How do they operate? What about us differs from that? What's limiting us? What do we need to change? The more you sit with yourself, these answers will kind of just reveal themselves to you. Like I said, you'll grow at a rate that you probably didn't even think was possible. It's just you have to start doing it. All this is just noise and distraction right now. You are your answer. So hopefully that resonated and made some sense for you. Guys, keep me updated on your progress. I do look at the comments. And if you haven't subscribed, because every single one of my